Hello everyone, I'm Rob Smith of Smith in the Black with the Strat Time Report, and it's that time of the day, as we've seen in the summer, where things start to dry up. So here's your SPY. Slight gap up and sit and do nothing like we've seen so many times. And if you look in the lower left up here, you're going to see this. You got your inside 60, pokes up a little bit, and then comes down and takes it out. It's called a one bar rev strat because he was inside. This was inside of that. Pokes up a little bit and then fails. All right, so this is an equilibrium because it's inside. Tried to take it up, failed, comes back down. But you can see now, just like we've seen so many times, you have potentially 3 hours in the opening range and maybe even worse. Watching that new 60 though, so you can see it starts to poke up a little bit. If you go to QQQ, and Q's, I think, did not quite take that out. Nope. Q's went inside and down on the 60, but didn't fall apart. Still within these two range. Still an inside day, I believe. Let's check this out. 380.37. Yeah, still an inside day for the Qs, so not doing too much there either. If we go to the diamonds, we know this thing's been drying up. But trying to take that inside week, but just look at these ranges. An inside day to the upside, but then now you got an inside 60 in the diamonds, so there's that. But small cappers have been the ones we've really been keeping an eye on here because the small cappers keep driving higher. Once again, trying to take that inside month to the upside. So one of the things we want to look to see if there's any sector rotation going on. There's certainly today something we've been keeping an eye on is the energy. And UCO crude gaps up into here, right? And so we want to see if we can take out last month's highs here. And UCO, that's above 79.27. So you got some more distance on that because we've been watching XLE. See if you can take this hammer out. Now you still got some distance on this. Having a nice day though. The 2 down, 2 up reversal on the XLE. If you go to OIH here, 2 down by taking out the previous day's lows and then back up, right? That would be the similar on the 60 if we can take this out. 2 up by taking out the high, 2 down by taking out the low. So we can see if we can get into that. So one of the things we're looking at, once again, all these monthlies, to see who can take out the month. So we knew yesterday energy was weak, right? And XEC wasn't. SEC was up. It was inside day to the upside, and now having an even better day. And here you can see that's taken out that last month's highs. Outside month, poke down. So for the rest of the month, XEC something I'd want to know about over 66.99, and there you go, 70.40, having a nice move. If you go to LPI inside day to the upside in the energy, and coming after this once again the outside month, the 2 down hammer and back up over 58.59. You're there now. So new hours backing off a little bit. They came pretty fast out of the gate, so we'll see. We got some other secondary stuff like here COG. Also taking out last month's highs here and having a nice day. Look at that inside week. The 2-1-2 reversal week coming back to previous range, which triggers that monthly. You've got an EQT. Also taking out last month's highs here, so that has my attention for the rest of the month, over 1947. If we go to WLL, Whiting also taking out last month's highs hammer, over 48.36. And if you go to SM Energy, also trying to take out last month's highs. So we're going to see if these guys are like the first round, and then you can start working on like a PXD to try and take the inside month. You can see these are lagging a little bit. Now it's just chevrons. Chevron's got some distance. You can see a lot of these things have some distance to go take out last month's highs. Exxon. So you want to stick with the ones that did, and then we'll see if they lead and get everybody else going. So we know sometimes those tend to fade, but we'll see. Now the crude's up there. If we go to Spotify, monthly hammer. Do we know about that? You bet we did. It was in the weekend vid. It was also in the Strat Attack show. Stop all these guys out, and then boom, 2-2 reversal over 235.42, already up 255. Now an inside 60 to keep an eye on. And once again, you look for that lower low on the weekly, come back to the previous range. Now let's see if we can take this baby out, get ourselves a nice broadening formation. If we go to Netflix, and Netflix just going to all-time highs. Had a nice morning here, and some of the big cap or techs aren't doing too much. So you can see here now it starts to fade a little bit. We'll see how that new 60 goes for us. If you go to FIGS, and FIGS having a nice little day, backing off now here. Backing off just a tad. But you can see once again, like we're looking for in Spotify, you can see this. Get that slight lower low, inside day, boom. Inside day, measured move. All right. 2-2 reversal week, 2 down by stopping all these guys out. Boom, back to the previous range, which then triggers this in the month. The inside month, by not taking out this higher low, the poke down, the rev strat. 1, 2, 2. All right, still good. FIGS on the monthly. If we go to UPST, you'll see this. Inside day to the upside. All right. Just exhaustion risk by going to the highs, just continuing that 2-2 reversal from last month. Now you can see takes out the previous high, then the low. So in the next hour, we're going to see if it goes inside and then back up 2-1-2 style, or takes this out 242.58 and goes 2 down, 2 up. UPST. If we go to ASTR, and ASTR coming up, potential outside week. It's got some distance on that. It's still handling an inside month, but you can see these two bars were stuck in here to make the compound inside bar, right? Once you can't get out of, once you have an inside bar and you can't get outside of the what's before it, the mother bar, these become a compound inside bar. So you can take that as soon as it takes that out. Boom, off she goes. We'll see if there's anything more to that gap fillage in the village. Gets a little thin, but CACC having a nice move here too. We call that the Momo Hammer Weaker. And off she goes, and you see it's just been grinding, and now accelerating. See how it started the day here is 2 down, and then boom, 2-2 reversal, and off she goes. But now you got a new hour, and you can see it's starting to come in again. We'll see if that sets up again for us. If we go to NCNO, and NCNO here on the monthly. Takes out the previous high, takes out the previous low. Boom, these two become an outside bar of that. Real nice move here. Now just stalling out. We'll see if anything more comes of it. Had a nice little inside 30 here to get you in. Right there. Inside 30 and off she goes. So that we call that directional because technically this is a 2 up even though it's red. But the good thing about it, because this is red, that means on a shorter time frame you did have corrective activity. It came in. Right? Even though it was a 2 up. But then you get your inside bar, and then off to the races, NCNO. If we go to Coop, and Coop just has our attention, just kind of grinding right now. We'll see if it tries to take out that 30, but comes back in. So in the next half an hour, if we can retake 258.01, that gets my attention because we're looking at this monthly where you have the outside month, the poke down and the back up, right? So that tells you got your broadening formation. This is what it looks like on the weekly, right? So you got some good meat on them bones to keep an eye on that thing for the rest of the month. Right now, it looks like Q's trying to go to the low, so we're starting to lose them a little bit, but we'll see. If we go to Docs, and Docs, Docs just have a nice little day here, 2 up and then 2 up, just exhaustion risk by going into the highs, and so oftentimes what will happen there is you'll see it stall out a little bit and go inside in the 60, try to take that inside 60, but now these two, because it couldn't get out of this, are a compound 1, right? They're treated as 1 bar, so might even go 3 hours in there, but we'll see. Right now you are losing the Q-sters just a little bit, and Q-sters trying to go low to the day and trying to go 2 down. This would be rev strat day to the downside because it was an inside day, then pokes up. So here Q's below 380.37, and you're almost there right now. Would get my attention. If we go to Octa, and earnings and opened it flat. It was down last night, but now it comes roaring back and trying to take out this outside month to the inside, to the upside. You got an inside 60 to keep an eye on there right now, albeit right now it's starting to teeter just a tad. If we go to TSRI, boom, this thing just exploded off of this stuff here. So now good chance of staying mother bar in here. So Just be aware of that. It did have a nice move. We'll see if it sets up again, though. If we go to CERT, CERT, and CERT, after last month's rev strat, 1, 2 down, boom, and off she goes. Having a nice little day here, stalling out like a lot of things, though, here on your 60. Keeping an eye on these cues. They're getting closer to taking that rev strat to the day to the downside. If you go to letter U, and letter U, inside day to the upside, and if that works, the inside week to the upside, right? Now it just stalls out on the 60 like a lot of things here. Keeping an eye on these broader averages to see if they keep on coming in. If you go to APP, and APP, just having a nice little day here, follow through from yesterday. This pokes down. This is an outside day yesterday. So that means when you get the continuation, that this rejection of this selling is still going on. So it did its job to go take all these guys out, but it's been higher in the past, and like I said, right on that 60 starts to come back in. If you look at that 60 to start the day, people ask me this a lot too. Can you use the 60s and 30s from yesterday on the opening? I'm like, yes, you can. And you can see this, how this slightly poked down, 2 down, and then boom, back to the range, and that's where you got that beefy move. If you go to MRVI, and MRVI, just another rev strat day. Inside day, pokes down, boom. Still got these guys to go after here and to take out some more of this range. So I want to keep an eye on that. If there's any other groups that were doing okay, like some healthcare, Humana was coming up, Hammer Counter Shooter Day, Cigna. Little bit there on the inside day, 3-1-2er. That's one of the things we look for, the outside day, inside. They're willing to pay up, sell down. They met back in the middle. Boom, real move. So a little bit of that healthcare coming up. You can see right now some of these big boys fading here. Apple here, still an inside day, but you can see hitting the lows of the day. So stuff like that, and gigs not doing too much. But if we got some big losers, and as Google does the rev strat day, inside day, pokes up, and then boom, right back down. You see? Just doesn't fall apart. It does its job by stopping all these guys out. The question was going to be weak enough for this. So far, no. If we go to Autodesk, and Autodesk having all sorts of problems here, and one of the things we look for is that monthly. Went into the highs, 2 up, and then boom, 2-2 reversal on the month. Here, as soon as it took out this low, 308.02, boom, down to 289.02, and still puking. This thing's got some problems, so we can keep an eye on that. See if it sets up again for us. Right now, it's just been a grind of puke, and here's been that. Here, 86, 84. There's an inside bar at 15 or to the downside. 5 below. 5 below on the gap, also coming after last month's lows here. Below 192.04. It did it. Now it's just kind of meandering lower. We'll see if that sets up again for us. Here's an inside 30 to the downside, and we'll see if that keeps going. We've seen continued weakness that we saw last month in Visa and MasterCard. And MasterCard here, MA, you can see inside day to the downside. We'll see if that sets up again. Right now inside on the 60 right, with Visa. Also the inside day to the downside here. And now inside on the 60, we'll see if they're trying to firm up or what goes on there. Market teetered there for a second, but now trying to firm up a little bit, as you can see. SPY tried to take out this low and then comes right back up to doji land of nothingness. So if we go to NXPI. So NXPI, we want to see if this gets weak, because potentially an outside week. Right, took out the highs and it's coming all the way back through. You also have an inside day, and it's slightly taking that to the downside, not really accelerating, but we want to see if we can take out all these guys. All right, you got your higher high. Let's go down and take these guys out and make the lower low. You watch that with SMH. SMH, you can see this doing nothing. Inside day, just stuck. So that would help if you can get that out of there. And so you might hear me talk about mother bar issues. Here it is. The initial hit, right? And then you can see this chopped up, but good in here. Look at this. It's doing nothing. You got to get outside of this thing for the SMH. If we go to some retail, RH, having a day, and there's an inside day, slight higher high, and then boom. That's what an outside day coming through. and that changes that week to be an outside week, still inside on the month, but now an inside 60. See if we can get that to come down. F5 below goes to the lows as I speak. Deckers. And Decker's an inside 60 trying to come back up. And so one of the things you can see here is once the market starts to dry up, the strong start to weaken a little bit and the weaken start to strengthen a little bit as they are really not a lot of follow through, oftentimes until later in the afternoon. But you can see this in the Deckers. This gets my attention. That's a 2-up shooter below 412.94 for the rest of the month. Below that, you got some problems here. And you can see taking out these week's lows. You can see this been steady selling on the daily, so we'll see how that goes. But right now, Autodesk going to the lows. We're still watching to see if the energies rejuvenate in the afternoon. But keep an eye on, be aware that things dry up because that's what's been happening. And oftentimes you might want to hold off until later in the afternoon. All right, that's going to do it for today. I'm Rob Smith. This is Mr. Black with the Strat Time Report.